best way to get better at programming is to practice. And in this example, we're going to check to see if a password meets a fictional company's requirements of how strong a password is supposed to be. As always, this file is available for download using a link in the description below. You can pause this video to practice on your own, and if you get stuck or just want to verify your answer, you can then restart the video to follow along. All right, let's get started. So here's an interesting situation where we have to pass several different tests just to get started. Passwords have to be between 8 and 16 characters. They have to contain both upper and lowercase, a number, and at least one special character. They cannot contain white spaces, and that's okay. So let's see how we're going to make this a strong password. Now, I'm going to point you down below under the Go Further, and I'm going to show you a little hint that's going to help us right away. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to say length equals false. You might say, well, why are we starting with length equals false? Well, each of these tests, we're going to set a Boolean value, and we're going to see if they are true or false. We're going to start off saying that they are all false. Okay, so this is each of our different values. We all have them set as a Boolean value set to false. We're going to say password equals input, and now we're going to get the password from the user. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to check our length. So we're going to say if len, and this is a special function built into Python, which checks the size of an object, in this case, a string. So if len password is greater than or equal to 8, and len password is less than or equal to 16, then we will say length equals true. If we're equal to true, now we're going to check to see, go through our password and check, do we have capital letters, do we have lowercase letters, etc. There's a lot of ways we can do this, but what I'm going to do is just loop through each character one at a time and see if it matches. So I'm going to say for ch, that's short for character. It's a common abbreviation you see in programming. In password. So this is going to let us loop through each character of our password using a for loop. This is a standard thing that we can do inside of Python. Now we'll just have a series of if statements. So we'll say if ch dot is lower. Okay, so this is going to check to see if this substring, the single character, is lowercase. If so, then we'll say lower letter equals true. Elif is upper, cap letter equals true. Else if, or elif, ch dot is digit. So this is looking for, is it numeric? Then we'll say number equals true. So we've got quite a bit of things done in here. Pretty simple. All we have now to do is figure out, okay, what about that special case? And there's a couple things that we could do. The easiest one is we are going to have a string of all my accepted special characters. So I'm going to say special character equals, and I have a string here. Okay, so there's all the special characters I'm going to allow. Now all I have to do is say if ch in special char. So if we're in that string of all my acceptable special characters, then I'm going to say special equals true. That's all it is. It's a real simple thing. I don't have to like go and try to do multiple loops and matching and stuff like that. I'm using those built-in commands that Python gives me to make my life easy. In is a perfect example of that. Now, what happens if it's not in this special character? Well, we already know that it's not an uppercase letter or lowercase letter, a number. And if it's not in this special character, what I'm going to do is say else special equals false, and then I'm going to force a break. This forcing a break is going to say stop inside my loop. It doesn't care about if statements. It goes actually up to my for loop. And this is going to ensure that I'm not going to go any further and accidentally set something to false that's not supposed to be. So let's see how this is going to work now. Because I need one more if statement to make this fully work. We'll say if, and we're going to look for all those different things. So we're going to say length. So if length, okay, it's a Boolean value. We don't have to say equals true. We just say if length and lower letter and cap letter and number and special. If all those things are met, else print please pick a different password. So if we go and we run this, big house 123 $, my password is good. It's more than 8 characters, less than 16, uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and special characters. Run this again. Notice it's almost the same, except I got a couple of spaces in there. Boom. It's going to kick it out automatically and say, hey, you got to pick a better password. You got to pick a different one. What it did is it picked up on that space. And as soon as it says, oh, well, I know I'm not a letter because that was in the elif statement. I know I'm not a number because that's in the elif statement. So I knew that since I wasn't in this special character list, that's the approved special character list. So at that point, I knew I'm an invalid character. And because I'm an invalid character, my password's automatically bad, busts me out, special failed, comes down and says, oh, you got to pick a different password. So I can kind of go through this and I can test this over and over again. Doesn't like it because there's no capital letters in that password. And you just kind of see these different things going on and on. So very powerful, works really well for us. It really wasn't that complicated of a program to write. It's a matter of just breaking it down into simple little steps to figure out what's the best way to look at that password, character by character, and see how do we make it work better. Hopefully that helped you out. If you like these videos, consider subscribing so you can see more videos like this on how to become a better programmer.